I feel like we're the cranberry sauce that goes on the turkey, so to speak. But that doesn't mean that the turkey isn't the nutritious bit of the meal. The cranberry sauce is I wanted to say the slutty bit, but that doesn't really make any sense.
Welcome to the Bible in 1 Year podcast, brought to you by two Brits and aBible. This is day 32. Today, we're jumping into Leviticus 1, 2, 3, and 4.
In Leviticus 1, the Lord explains details of burnt animal offerings to Moses. In Leviticus 2, the Lord explains details of grain offerings and first fruits to Moses. In Leviticus 3, the Lord explains details of peace offerings of animals to Moses. And in Leviticus 4, the Lord explains details of sin offering of the priests and the people to Moses.
So, new book, Leviticus. I'm just going to say this right now. Those of you that are still with us, thank you, because towards the end of Exodus, things get boring. Hopefully we brought a bit of life to it for you. We hope to keep doing that through Leviticus and Numbers and some of the more dull parts of it, but please don't give up. Reading the whole Bible is such a massive thing to do, and God can speak to you through every little facet of it. So thank you for doing it. Please stay with it, because I know it's dry. We both know it's dry, but God is real in it, and there is a lot of good in there. Like I said, hopefully we can pull some of that out for you, but please don't skip on reading it. Please make sure you plug into the word for yourselves as well.
I 100% agree. Like, that's the bigger thing, because I got to be honest, that just made me feel really nerdy, because like I'm actually still quite enjoying even these dry bits. I feel like we're the cranberry sauce that goes on the turkey, so to speak. But that doesn't mean that the turkey isn't the nutritious bit of the meal. The cranberry sauce is I wanted to say the slutty bit, but that doesn't really make any sense. But yeah, no, it is tough. I remember last year when we were doing this and just sitting there on your own trying to read through Leviticus and things, it is super brutal. So I agree with you on that, mate. So yeah, new book, new microphone. Hopefully I sound slightly better today as well, moving forwards. After all, this is a podcast. Audio's a bit of a thing, isn't it?
It is.
So I'll just jump straight in with low-hanging fruit, which is Leviticus 1:3. If the offering is a burnt offering from the herd, you are to offer a male without defect. So I just feel like that clearly looks forward to Jesus, who is the ultimate spotless lamb, the most precious sacrifice. But all the way from the beginning, the sacrifices must be perfect or spotless at least.
Yeah, and the fact they have to wash them as well. These are like goats and sheep and bulls and stuff running around. Washing them is such a painstaking process, because I feel like it's like washing a baby. As soon as it's washed, it's dirty again, or a toddler anyway. Like as soon as you've washed a lamb, it's dirty again, basically. So it's like, wash it quick, have its head off. We need to sacrifice it quick, because it's an important factor, isn't it?
100%. And the whole point of this sacrifice is it is a solemn, quite difficult process really for the Israelites, right?
True.
So there's so much detail to the sacrifice as well. So Leviticus 1:11, you are to slaughter it at the north side of the altar before the Lord. So you got this massive tabernacle, right? Mm-hmm. And you've got to go to a very specific part of it. Like imagine if you lived on the south side and you're having to like walk all the way around the tabernacle to get here with the lamb, and you know it's a lot, and it's very detailed and specific. But the Lord, you know, he rejoices in that detail, and he is he's a God of detail.
Yeah, he is, absolutely. It's one of the things that just jumps out time and time again, that he cares about the little things. He cares about the little things back then. He cares about the little things in your life. He cares about the little things that you are doing, just everything, which is, it can be painstaking, but actually you'd rather have a God that cares about the little things than a God that just doesn't give a crap, you know? So
absolutely
as well. It's actually, I read through beforehand the Apologetics Bible, which I rely on quite a lot. At the beginning of each book, it gives a bit of an overview as to like who wrote it and some of the details and things. And I was just reading through that, and it was saying about the sacrifices and how other religions would sacrifice to their other gods because they thought that the god literally ate it. They had like dietary needs. They had hunger and thirst the same way that humans do. And so that's what the idea of a sacrifice was, because sacrifice wasn't a new thing to the Israelites here, to sacrificing to Yahweh. It was something which they'd have done and been familiar with, but suddenly the reason for it changes. They're not doing it to appease a god, to get into a god's good books. They're doing it to atone for their sin. They're doing it because just to build a relationship with him rather than just get into the good books, which has a subtle but very, very key difference to it.
Absolutely.
English term to
I'm afraid there isn't necessarily a specific English term. I suppose the closest one I would say is there's a dichotomy between, there you go, a dichotomy between the Middle Eastern cultures around them and the treatment of their gods versus Yahweh and the way that the Israelites worship to him. That there is a dichotomy, which is just a fancy word for division, really. So there's your word of the day. Make sure you write it, get your pencil out, write it down in the little book, vocab builder. Love it. So a couple things that I noticed moving to Leviticus 2. Well, no, it's sort of throughout Leviticus 1 and 2 and a few other Leviticus. Such detail to how sacrifice works. The aroma pleasing to the Lord, Leviticus 1:17. So people have asked me about this. I don't have an answer, way above our pay grade. Well, at least mine. I shouldn't assume that you don't know. Why is... Yeah, no, I have total faith in you here to pull something brilliant out. Why is the aroma pleasing to the Lord? Why is this a detail that's included? And why is it repeated like 10 times or 15 times or something? One pastor joked that God just obviously likes the smell of barbecue, the same as any good person. But I think there's probably more to it than that.
So personally, what I feel, having just Googled it, is it's less about the smell. It's more about what the smell represents. The substitutionary atonement for sin. It's representing, that rebuilding of relationship with God. So there you go. It wasn't above my pay grade.
No, it wasn't. Mostly Google's, but I agree. It's amazing how you can raise the pay grade just by Googling things, right? So then Leviticus 2, we'll talk probably quite a lot about Aaron through bits of Leviticus. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons, is the most holy part of the food offerings presented to the Lord, Leviticus 2:10. So I just said it's fantastic that Aaron, despite his lack of faith, the idol worship, etc., has been forgiven by God, still has a very important role to play in the Israeli, life, holy life, and he still gets paid for the work that he does here.
Yeah, it's an incredible sort of thing, the way that it works, really. One thing which I'm super curious about, definitely above my pay grade this time, is, and we sort of come on to this again in a minute, but what is that grain offering for Aaron? Is it so that he can have it to sell, but then it's already been used as a sacrifice? Can he resell it? Is it for his to eat? Because this is one of the big things, and this is the pay grade thing. It said in Exodus 16:35 that the Israelites ate manna for 40 years. Then further on in Numbers, it's saying, why can't we have meat? All we get is manna. Yet there is Aaron is being given this grain for himself. It references so frequently in here: meat, bread, honey, flour, olive oil, salt for seasoning. Like, they could have a proper banquet here. Why can't they eat that? Why are they only doing that?
But I'm not 100% sure, again, above my pay grade, definitely, but I'm not 100% sure whether it is only manna that they eat manna for 40 years, but is it only manna for 40 years? Or is manna more the staple when they're in the wilderness, in places where they can't gather enough food? And then there are times of plenty, perhaps, where they do get meat.
Because it does specify about not eating the fat, and why would it specify fat? They can eat the rest. So we've raced through this. We're bang out of time, bro. I'm sorry. We might have to touch more on this tomorrow, but hopefully you join us tomorrow. If you have any questions, visit the Facebook page, 2 Brits and a Bible.
And please consider liking and subscribing to help spread the word of God.